The next step in the process is to mark up the neck piece of wood ready for cutting out the profile on the bandsaw. The first thing we want to think about with this is the height of the strings above the bridge and therefore against the height of the body. Now if we set our bridge up so we've got one of the pieces at the highest point and one at the lowest point, we can find out the range that we've got to work with. The highest one I have here is 16.5 millimeters, and the absolute lowest I've got is 13, but that really is a little bit low, so we want to be working more like 14 as the minimum. So we've got 14 to 14.5. That gives us a nice range to work with. We measured up on another guitar the action that we would have with a nicely set up guitar. The action on the 12th fret of the top E string is about 1 millimeter, and the low E string is about 1.5. If we then measure up the fretboard, and we can measure up the thickness of the fretboard in the centre and at the position where we'd have the top and the low E strings, we have 6 millimeters in the centre and 5.5 at the edges. So if we write all these down, we will then find that we have a height of the string above the body at the bridge position. At the 12th fret we have a 1 millimeter action. That translates to 2 millimeters at the bridge, plus 1 millimeter fret wire height, plus 5.5 millimeters thickness of the fretboard itself. That gives us a grand total of 8.5 millimeters. We will have a height of the bridge above the body of 14 millimeters. So we subtract one from the other, that gives us 5.5 millimeters. We have to have this bridge lower than the fretboard by 5.5 millimeters. In order to do that, we can either create an angle of the body relative to the neck, or we can step the body down. If you have a separate neck, a set neck, you can adjust the height of the neck and the angle of the neck. We can't do this, so we have got the choice of either doing an angle or a step. It works out if you do an angle, we lose so much thickness of the body or the neck that it just doesn't really work. So we're better off doing a step. So what we're going to do is step down the body relative to the fretboard by 5.5 millimeters. I'm just going to mark out the end of the fretboard onto the side of the body. Turn it over and do the same. Okay, 310 is our 12th fret position, and 620, so another 310 there is where our bridge goes. There'll be a little bit of intonation adjustment there, but it's only about 1 millimeter. 5.5 millimeters there. We're going to measure 5.5 here, and we're going to take 5.5 at the end here as well. Okay. Okay, so that's what we are going to cut away for our step. Let's do the same on the other side. 5.5 millimeters there, and 5.5 millimeters there, which looks good. A neck headstock needs to have a little bit of an angle relief from the level of the fretboard, and 5 degrees is about the right sort of angle. So we're going to set on our protractor here an angle of 5 degrees. Make sure that we've got that absolutely lined up to 5 degrees. I'm going to place that on the top of where the fretboard goes, slide it along until that angle just meets the point where the ruler starts to measure the angle, and we'll draw our angle across there. That is the top of our headstock is going to be in that line there. We want a headstock thickness of 15 millimeters, so we're going to measure 15 millimeters there. Okay, like that. To turn that over and do the same on the other side. A line across for our headstock there. Wonderful. We then take our template that we've drawn for the profile of the neck, put this into position, and we have our little step already pre-planned, pre-organised, whatever you want to call it, and just line that up with where we've created our step here. All we're really interested in is just getting this this little profile that we've done here, which gives us a bit of a nice little bit of a curve. So on this side we're going to mark our 15mm at the nut end, headstock end, and our 18mm at the bridge end. Want to get rid of all this? Look at all that we're losing. My word. My word. Shocking. What did I say the body thickness was going to end up being? 43mm. 43. And 43. Okay. We're ready for the bandsaw. We've set the bandsaw up and now we're just ready to cut our profile of the neck. We've got with the heel just the right sort of angle to this heel that we want, so it makes life a lot easier. A little bit of burn in there, but yeah, the shape's coming on. And I'm just going to cut the top of this body that we've taken out of this recess. I'm just using a little hacksaw. I have quite a bit of control doing this. I'd want to cut very accurately and very carefully. I don't want to go too deep. Wobbly table. There we go. Easy. I think. Does it? It's more like a ball. Boing. It's got some boing in it.